Yeah, so that'll be it. Okay, so that was Chainlink all the way down to Sergey, what he's going to do. So um, I'm going to take a break and then I'll talk about what's going to happen to you guys, right? So you, the diehards that are going to stick with the cryptos and take the risks and become financially independent, right? Because you guys are going to be there quicker than you think, and you're going to be faced with, holy shit, man, I don't have to work. And some of you guys are going to not have the courage to live your life, live your dream. You'll get the next job, or you'll continue on doing your job, and you'll think you're being a hero, but you're just really being a pussy. But I'll get into that, and I'll have to get deep in this one. But I'm going to try to paint the picture of a of a stinky linky after they make it. All right, let me pause it. All right, so let's see. It's going to be this will be a general path for people like yourselves, and I'm not gonna distinguish between millennials or boomers or how old you are or how young you are. Your path's going to be a little different, but it's all going to be basically the same, right? It's going to be the same. Um, and it just depends on how much courage you have. If you got a lot of courage, you'll be, you'll you'll seek your true self, and if you don't have any courage, you'll make excuses to stay the way you are, and you'll have less problems. I mean, you'll have different problems, but you're going to experience life as you should if you don't take chances to really try to become yourself. And um, this is what it's that this that's going to be the next uh, decisions you're going to have to make. So this is what's going to happen. So some of you, you're scraping, enough to get your coins, and it's going to take a few more of these chain links for you to get to your financial independence, right? Where you can say, yeah, I can get out and not work. And then some of you are going to get it sooner, right? And some of you could do it now, but you haven't thought of it. You haven't thought of the circumstances you need to put yourself into, and how to restructure your finances and sell all your shit. But you can be financially independent now, some of you, but you'll wait until you feel comfortable. But it's going to come. So you're going to hit the jackpot in Chainlink for sure. And then don't really think about not sticking around if the the return on investment isn't going to be past a 2x. Because once the price stabilizes, how much more upside is there, right? So think of that. And you guys are getting close because you're the first ones, and so you're gonna have to find another gold mine like you did, and you'll do a few more of those, and if you all you got to do, if you put your mind that you're going to be financially independent, you'll figure it out, right? So this is what's going to happen when you get free, right? So you're gonna some of you are going to like I said, stay in the same life. You know, you'll have the same people around you. You won't change much, right? You'll just have the money to do whatever you want, and you'll do maybe work that you want to do. And some of you guys are going to spend it how you've always wanted to spend it, right? So if it's, nice cars and big houses and all that, it's going to be that first, and you're going to get sick of it, just like anybody that chases that kind of stuff. It'll trap you, and you won't get any satisfaction out of it as you once thought, and you'll kind of feel like a dork, some of you, in those big cars or nice cars, because you just won't feel like it's you. And then sooner or later you're gonna realize, well, I should just be myself. I'll be happier, and then you'll be doing the same stuff you do, casually, like you go to pub instead of a fancy bar, or you'll be genuine if you're smart, and it'll be a whole new class of rich people, all they'll be like the beer drinking upper class, and they won't give a shit about the stuff that the upper class gives a shit about now, and you'll be putting your money towards stuff that is different, right, and unique, that you want to do to change, to fix the world, because you know once you get hyper rich and you can't spend all the money that you can spend, then you'll be left with this thing like, what am I going to do with it, right? But I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's get back to the average Joe, that he gets financially independent, and he's has presence of mind to get rid of all the people around him that don't make him happy, and get into an environment that he always wants to get into, and stuff that he likes to do, right? And you will start to live it. You'll start to live a free life. So you'll do your traveling. You'll experiment with all sorts of shit that you always wanted to do, right? And it'll be the most freeing time you'll ever have. And a lot of you are going to get addicted to, alcohol, drugs. You'll find yourself trying to manage that, because you have all the money in the world, all the time in the world, and it doesn't matter if you're high or drunk that day, or doing whatever you want to do. It's not there. You won't have any boundaries, right? So you'll have to go through that, and you'll fall into, fuck, I'm drinking too much, or man, it's reckless what I'm doing here with this and this, and you'll have to curb yourself out of it, and that's why you see rock stars and actors and people with a lot of time in their hands. They get hooked on, drugs, alcohol, um, uh, bad habits, and it's just because they're bored, and they can do it. And um, you know, I wouldn't say don't do it, because that's part of the human experience. But just know that there'll be a time where it will be like, man, I'm partying every day, and just this and that, and to where, fuck, I'm partying every day, you know, and I can't walk a flight of stairs anymore, or whatever. And you'll just have to get rid of it, But I can't say like, yeah, don't do that, because that's part of you being free, right? You're gonna get all this shit out of your system, and you're gonna start to realize that, yeah, there's a lot of shit that you do that is programmed in you, a lot of things that you believe and think, and you'll notice that, hey, I'm starting to laugh a little bit more, and I'm starting to my mannerisms are a lot more exaggerated, and I'm not as stiff as I used to be. And then you're going to look at your friends that are still in the workforce, right? And you're going to visit them, and you're going to look at them, and you're going to see what happens to you when you conform into a society, right? And it's been happening to us since we were in kindergarten. And it's like we were born like perfect babies, right? Perfect toddlers. And then we had to go to school. And that's when we had to learn to sit up straight, and, have this kind of um, way about us, and it's like we have to fit in these foam suits when we get into school, and then when we get into work, we have to behave a certain way and talk a certain way and not say anything contrary to what everyone else is saying, blah blah blah, right? And you'll find once you start unraveling all that shit that you start to become yourself again. And then the first thing I think you're going to realize is that holy shit, man, you've been living in a complete I wouldn't say a lie, but none of the shit that you thought was important really matters, and how you're hemmed into these different lives that you really didn't choose. You saw it on television, so so you did that. I'm 34 years old, so I got married. I had the money, so I got this big ass house that I can't stand. Keeps me working for it on the weekends. And you'll find all sorts of different little shit like that, right? And then if you're wise and you continue to realize these things, you become yourself, right? And then you become eccentric a little bit because you don't follow people's rules anymore, right? You don't notice them, and you just feel like you're free all the time. And then once you get there, you're going to start to find your true purpose. Once you get to that point, once you've had the courage to unravel yourself of all the bullshit ideas you have about how to live, how to talk, how to think, what to want, and you start thinking for yourself what you want, what I like to say, you will start to unravel. And as you unravel, your true person's going to come out of you, right? And it's going to be a guy like you were in high school maybe, or before high school, before you had to act. And then your purpose is going to come out, right? And you're going to, oh man, this is what I really am passionate about. Who would have known, right? I've never tried it because I've conformed, right? And then you're going to start practicing your craft, and you would do it for free. You do it for free. That's how much you like. When you're in your zone, when you like this to do the shit that you want to do, then you will you could be in it forever. And it doesn't have to be one thing. It could change. You could finish one thing, and then another passion's going to come out. But one thing is that you'll never run out of things to do. So never think you're going to be bored when you become financially independent. It's like an empty room, right? You take all the shit out of the empty room, and the next year it's filled up with other shit, And if you move to another city by yourself, you'll end up with another set of friends, another set of routines, and it never ends. It can't end. You can't have voids in anything, right? I mean, you have to push people out if you want a void, but it's just you'll never be bored. And then once you become yourself, you'll find your passion, and you won't even have to worry about it. It'll just come to you, and you'll end up doing it. And then that's when you start really living, and to be a 20-year-old with crypto money and a good head on my shoulders, life would be unbelievable. So a lot of you guys are young guys that are going to be like that, right? And it's going to be an unbelievable life, man. You're going to have to unwind yourself out of it, right? And it's going to be difficult. And you're going to have to practice it, like getting rid of that fucking girlfriend. You're going to have to practice what you're going to say to her, getting out of that job or moving out of that dead-end city that you're in to a place you want to live is going to take a little courage. So, once you get through all that, you'll feel like what humans really meant to feel like when they came on this earth. And that will happen to a majority of you that reach for this financial independence so you can get out of this system. And then there's going to be some of you there that are going to not do it, right? You're not going to want to think about it. You're going to want to stay where you're at, and you're going to say, well, I don't know what I want to do. And even though you got these things that you got to end, these people that you got to distance yourself with, you won't attempt to do it. And you'll just have a life like you have now, but different problems because you'll have money. You won't be worrying about different things, but you'll still be hemmed in. And I can't find an example of somebody like that. But anyway, you'll know to yourself, yeah, I don't want to do this because I don't want to, it's going to be too hard to get out of this situation that I put myself into, and it's better just to dig in and fix it here. And you'll blame yourself. Man, if I could just, be more kind to my wife and, this and that to my kids, and it'll be like that, and you'll be good, but you won't find out who you are yet, because you're not going to be able to unravel yourself. And the older you are, the harder it is, man. And when you get up to the 40s and 50s and you're unraveling yourself, you fall out of your mind sometimes, I would imagine, right? Because you're so used to these comforters, you know. But once you wake up to the fact that, holy shit, man, I've been living someone else's um, reality, right? Someone else's view of what I should be doing. I mean, who said I should be married, right? Who gave that as a thing to do? But people do it. Men get into marriage and they give away all their freedoms and their rights. And who says that you got to be married, right? Or who says you got to get a big ass house if you got the money to get it? You know, um, and all that kind of stuff. You know, even it's just there's so many different things that just stop people from doing what they should do because it's not PC. And yeah, so that's it. That would be that's going to be a majority of you, right? And then there's going to be some guys that are not going to become financially independent, right? For whatever reason, they haven't taken the risks, or something inside them says that they don't deserve to be financially independent, and they'll get a good nest egg for being in crypto so soon. But and it is possible to live a genuine life inside the system, but it's hard. You got to get out of it first and look back and see how you're living before you can understand where you're at. And crypto is going to be the opportunity, man. And we're so fucking lucky to be in it right now, right? Assuming that this thing's going to be a monster, to where we're going to have that ability. We're going to have that ability to be ourselves, and that's the best. That is the best feeling in the world. Okay, so that's the Stinky Linkies up until. Um, okay, so one more thing is going to come up, right? As you get, this is how I see it, right? As the crypto becomes the wealthy, and the have-nots are left behind, right? So I think, man, if it gets to the point where there's going to be crypto rich and then there's going to be everyone else, I think there's going to have to be cities built for cryptocurrency holders, people that are wealthy, right? Because everyone's going to be stealing from you if it's a dystopian future. But you know what I mean? I mean, I hope it's evenly distributed. I mean, it's impossible. It won't be. But we can't have a society that's Mad Max and then a group of people that have cryptos, right? So I think in the future we're going to be I think we're going to be put upon to use our money to help fix our society, as it transitions. And some people are going to have billions, I would think, and they're going to be asked to say, hey, man, you're going to have to help. I'm going to put this thing together because, we don't have any money. And I think that's going to be one of our duties. And, once you're to the point where you've spent everything, you bought everything you ever wanted, you've had, orgies, you had every exotic drug you can imagine, you've done everything. and you're doing it for the sixth or seventh time again, you're going to say, yeah, I don't, I don't particularly need all these billions. I'm going to start doing things I want to, using the money to help, and it'll be your kind of help, and it's not going to be, the March of Dimes or the Cancer Institute or the opera. It's going to be shit that you want to fix, like legalizing, weed, whatever the hell, uh, whatever your interests are, right? And the world's going to change that way. So we'll be sitting around and it'll be, man, it's a kind of a casual, it's, we don't have to wear ties anymore and shit like that. It'll be a different world. So, yeah, so that's it for the future, right? Because you're gonna cycle through all this money, and then at the end, you're gonna be called upon to help fix this world, or we're not gonna make it, right? We got about 100 years. And if they put the chip, I mean, if they incorporate the chip in your hand, we'll probably have 20 years. And I'm not going to live, but that's another story. But yeah, that's where we're going to be at. That's where we're going to be at. And you just think about it. How is it that you got involved in crypto so early? How did you become so smart to do it? It wasn't us, right? We fell into it. We fell into it because we're going to be the guys that are going to help the country or the world or our society get through this. And we've been chosen to gain all this wealth because, none of us did this on our own. I mean, when you think about how you figured it out or how you ran into it, it wasn't 100% you. It's probably 3% you. All right, man. So that's it. I mean, that was a chain link rant based on just some other things. There's nothing to say about the project anymore. There's nothing to say about the price and any insight because we already know everything now. So I decided I'll just do this musing on what's going to happen in the future. And you noodle through it yourself, and it's going to come out the same. It's going to come out the same. We're all going to experience this. It's going to be we're going to be happy as hell. We're going to, get into everything we ever wanted to do. We'll fall into some vices, and we'll have to pull ourselves out of it. And sooner or later, we're going to, not instantaneously, but we'll evolve into our true nature, our true selves, and you'll be a different person than you are now. You'll have different friends, and then you'll find your purpose, right? And I mean, when I say your purpose is the shit you want to do, the shit you want to do, that's your purpose. It's that easy, just up into you. Oh shit, this thing's in front of me, right? I gotta fix this, or I gotta be involved in this. And that's what, you're not going to have to look for it. It'll just show up. It'll be yours. There it is. Fuck. Right? It's going to be laid at your feet. And you go, man, I'm the only one that's going to do this. I'm the only one that knows how to do this. And voila, you'll start to live your true life. And you'll be the happiest you'll ever be, guys. The happiest you'll ever be. As soon as you unstick yourself from the world. I'll guarantee you.